Chapter 4. The Taste of Hunger. Rain hadn't fallen in weeks. The once green fields behind Rayan's home had turned brittle and yellow, like parchment left too long in the sun. Cracks lined the dirt path where he used to play barefoot, and the small stream where his mother washed clothes had thinned to a sluggish trickle. It was the season of waiting, and of hunger. Rayan felt it in his belly first, a slow, hollow ache that curled like smoke. But worse than the pain was the awareness. He had never known this kind of hunger before. Not in his other life, not as Raymond DeVere, who had once flown private jets just to taste truffle pasta in Rome or imported steak from Argentina for a single dinner meeting. Now he sat on the mat beside his father, chewing slowly on plain rice and a boiled yam. No meat, no salt, just survival. His little sister Layla was too young to understand. She pouted and asked for more. His mother smiled gently, broke her own portion in half and gave it to her. Rayan wanted to protest, to say that's not fair, but the words died in his throat. He saw the deep shadows under his mother's eyes. He saw how her blouse hung looser on her frame now. She was already giving more than she had. In his old life, Raymond had read reports about food insecurity, charts and projections, percentages of GDP, famine indexes, but none of those numbers had ever meant anything. He had never heard the quiet groan of a child sleeping on an empty stomach, never seen a man try to smile while chewing nothing but boiled cassava for the third day in a row. This was not data. This was human, and for the first time since his reincarnation, Raymond, the man inside Rayan, felt something crack. Not in despair, but in understanding. One night, a neighbor named Uncle Saro came by. His wife was sick and they had no food left. He asked quietly if Adan might spare a little rice. Rayan watched as his father stood silently for a moment, then walked to the grain sack, scooped out a portion, and handed it over without hesitation. "But that's our last bag," Rayan whispered after the man left. "We only have enough for 2 days." His father smiled sadly, and now so does he. It didn't make sense. Not to the part of Rayan that had once hoarded wealth, protected margins, maximized return, but another part of him, one that had been buried under contracts and cold ambition, began to stir. A part that remembered the warmth of giving, the dignity of kindness, the wealth that doesn't show on balance sheets. That night, with his belly still empty, Rayan couldn't sleep. He sat outside, legs curled beneath him, watching the moon rise. And somewhere deep within him, the old voice returned. "You once had everything," it whispered, "and it meant nothing. Now with nothing, he was beginning to learn what truly mattered.